As a boy, my father lived in Tondo, the most densely populated area of Manila, infamous for its slums and high crime rates. Before it burned down, his family lived in a house above their sari-sari store where they sold prepared foods, snacks, soda, and other convenience items. You could buy single cigarettes and sticks of gum, a dose of aspirin, or a packet of shampoo good for one wash. When he shared stories about his childhood, my American sensibilities were always shocked. One day, a street dog followed him home and joined the other dogs already living in his family's yard. The dogs didn't have names. They were all called aso, dog. Our dogs were not for petting, my father explained. They were low-tech burglar alarms and garbage disposals. But this dog was special. Totoy named his dog Lucky, after Lucky Strikes. This detail still astounds me. At 8 years old, my father had a favorite brand of cigarettes. Totoy threw sticks, and Lucky would fetch them. They would wrestle, and Lucky would clamp down on his arm, but always gently, without breaking the skin. Totoy's parents didn't hug him or say, "I'm proud of you, son." They didn't kiss his forehead when he was feverish or celebrate his birthday with gifts and cakes. Those were for the rich. Life was tough, and you didn't do your children any favors by softening them with encouragement and physical affection. Lucky wagged his tail whenever Totoy approached. For the first time in his life, Totoy felt loved with abandon. One night, a jeepney full of rowdy, drunk men slowed down in front of Totoy and his dog. A man reached a hook fashioned out of a pole and a bent clothes hanger out of the window of the jeep. He caught my father's dog by the neck and pulled it through his window. "I don't get it," I asked. "Why did they want your dog?" "What else for?" my father said. "To eat." I shook my head. "Dad, they stole and ate your pet. You were just a boy. That was mean." "It wasn't mean," he smiled. "It was meat. Dogs are meat the same as pigs, cows, and chickens, and the men were hungry and drunk." This is a trait I've picked up from my father, how to tell yourself a story in order to continue. He liked telling this story, especially after receiving a vet bill for Sashi, our family dog. "Jesus Christ, why does the dog need to get her teeth cleaned?" My father's teeth had been replaced with dentures in his 20s, precisely to prevent dental bills. He'd warn, "Be prepared. If this dog ever gets seriously ill, that's it. She's not having surgery or cancer treatments or diabetes shots. She's a dog, for God's sake." I'd sometimes hear my parents fight about Sashi's expenses. She required specialty food, venison, for sensitive skin, and didn't even sleep in her monogrammed beds from LL Bean. "Sashi is part of the family," my mother would say. My mother's devotion to Sashi was surprising considering her tendency towards germophobia. She is a woman who, when we were children, brought her own cleaning supplies to motel rooms so she could clean the bathroom before we used it. To this day, she carries hand sanitizers, cleaning wipes, and even toilet seat covers in her purse. She has the nose of a bloodhound, and it's impossible to walk beside her down a city street on a summer afternoon without her finding an offensive odor to zero in on. When she gets onto a scent, she crinkles her nose and says, "Disgusting." She starts sniffing deeply and makes a face. When I ask her what's wrong, she points to where someone urinated on the street and makes a convincing argument about whether this someone was a cat, dog, or human. She takes these odors personally, as if whoever spilled the fluids of their bodies onto the sidewalk did it to make her ill. I tell her to ignore it. "Don't pay attention and you won't even smell it," I advise her. "I can't help myself," she says. I believe her. She grew up with dogs, cats, and chickens roaming in her courtyard, but she did not consider them pets. As children, we were not allowed to touch our friends' dogs and cats, and were scolded to move away if the pets tried to lick our legs or hands. My mother said they were full of bacteria, but when Sashi joined our family, she ate from our fingers and licked our faces. "She's a dog," my father would answer. "This is America," my mother would counter, as if that made everything clear.